Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Beretta 9mm USA here. Today's video is going to be on this used police trade-in Smith & Wesson Model 65 4-inch K-frame revolver. We received this revolver from AIM Surplus for this review, so a quick shout out to them. Thank you to AIM Surplus. And we shot about 150 rounds of Sig Sauer's Elite Performance ammunition through this revolver during this review.
Alright guys, the Smith & Wesson Model 65 Police Trade-In. These are going to be the first rounds out of it. Let's see how it shoots. We're going to shoot right here some SIG V Crown 38 Special plus P. So some self-defense ammunition first out of it. Shoots really smooth with this 38 Special plus P. Now we're going to move on to some Sig Sauer 357 Magnum practice ammunition. This is 125 grain, I believe. All right. Not bad. These new grips from Altamont on this revolver are a huge upgrade over the stock ones that came on it. The Smith & Wesson Model 65 is no longer in production, and it is a standard 6-shot 357 Magnum revolver, so you can shoot 38 Special or 38 Special plus P through it, and it is your K-frame size revolver. This revolver comes in at a weight around 36 ounces. Okay, a little bit of single hand. Again, 357 Magnum. Wow, this thing is accurate. May have been beat up, but it still shoots, dude. And two more. Very nice. One of the things that does make this like an old school Smith & Wesson revolver is that you do have a unshrouded ejector rod down here. So this was more common like your Smith & Wesson Model 10, Model 15, and the Model 64, which is the 38 Special plus P version of this, and of course this Model 65, or even the Model 13 revolver. But yeah, so you don't have anything protecting your ejector rod, so you need to be careful overall and not damaging this ejector rod or bending it or anything like that in the end. This revolver is perfectly fine, as you can see. This revolver worked out amazing at the range. It's a very nice find for around $400.
All right, guys, I'm going to start off with that Sig Sauer V Crown in 38 Special plus P, 125 grain jacketed hollow point. It's traveling at 965 feet per second and has 258 foot-pounds of energy. So we're going to start with that. We are lasered out to 13 yards from the targets, and we are shooting at a new spot. We have lost our regular spot that we've used for years. So we've got a mound of dirt back behind the targets for a backstop, and we're shooting at still targets from here. Shoots really nice. All right, I wanted to cover the sights on this revolver. It is a standard Smith & Wesson ramped front sight right there. And nothing special about the rear sight here. It is just part of the frame. It's machined into the frame itself. So really fixed sights here. There's nothing really special to them, nothing expensive to them, and they were very accurate at the range at the 12, 13 yards away we were firing this revolver. It was hitting dead center almost every time. So just a really great shooter at the range.
Which is nice to see in an old police trade-in, you know. I would have been concerned that, you know, maybe it wouldn't have shot true, and it shot true. Yeah, so the barrel's still obviously very good on it. This revolver also has a round butt frame on it. After receiving this wheel gun, I put a set of Altamont grips on here, as you can see. They are fantastic, guys. Again, I wear a large size glove, fills my hand pretty good, and gives me great control. And these are nearly indestructible type of grips from Altamont.
So I love the coloring on them, the texturing on them. What you see right here in this high definition camera is what you get. That's just awesome. So great job on the grips, and it definitely adds a little something to this used Smith & Wesson. Kind of brings it back to life. The grips that come stock on this Smith & Wesson revolver were rubber Uncle Mike's, and we just took them off and replaced them with these Ultimonts. One more thing to say about the grips is you do have an exposed back strap here, which of course lets your hand get closer to the revolver frame itself, which leads to a great reach for the trigger right here. Speaking of the trigger, it's excellent. The return spring is very strong, setting you up for the next round. And the trigger pull itself is very smooth all the way through. Not overly heavy either. I find it very nice. I'm going to guess it's right around 10 pounds. So here's what the SIG V-Crown 38 Special Plus P looks like. Very accurate. 357 Magnum. This is SIG's practice ammo, Elite Performance. Very nice, man.
Yep.
So it may be a police trade-in from AIM surplus, but it shoots fantastic. No problems at all. Yeah, it's a hell of a shooter. 38 Special Plus P or 357 Magnum. You're up. One thing that you notice on this revolver right away is that it has no exposed hammer here to be able to grab and pull into single action for those of you that like to do so. This will be a great revolver for you to practice shooting it double action all the time. And of course, if you're carrying it in something or carrying it in a holster or whatever, it leaves nothing to get caught on if you were drawing your revolver out to be able to use your revolver. So that's another huge benefit to having this type of hammer, is there's no way to get it caught on anything if you happen to need to use it.
It really is a great self-defense revolver, and I mean, again, at that price point this thing is coming in at used, it's fantastic. You really can't beat it.
And again, talking about that trigger, as I was pulling it, very nice all the way through. So it's not like you're giving up a lot. It's not like you don't have an enjoyable trigger right here, because you really do. And you'll see the return spring is very strong. I think maybe they went through the revolver and replaced a lot of the springs because it feels very strong. Coming back, very nice. Very smooth, no stacking. It's a pretty wonderful trigger.
All right, we're loaded back up with some SIG 357 Magnum ammunition. This K-frame heats up pretty fast. This is some of that V-Crown 38 Special Plus P. God. It's pretty controllable though, this gun, you guys, even with 357 Magnum. Really nice.
Seems to be a great shooter, man.
Yeah, and I mean, for $420, really, how can you go wrong?
You did some nice work to it to make it look really good.
All right, guys, I'm going to show you the lockup on this revolver. This revolver, considering that it is a used gun, the lockup is very good. This thing was not abused. You can see it has ever so slight movement in it. Very little side-to-side movement. Very minute amount of back and forth play. It's just very nice. Quality Smith & Wesson revolver, you know, I wouldn't expect anything less from Smith, even in one of these old school used guns. And let me talk to you guys about the overall fit and finish of this. Of course, this was a used police trade-in, and let me tell you guys, I'm going to show you some pictures right now. This thing was in pretty rough condition when it got to us. It looks a lot better, I think, than it did beforehand now. After I got done turning this into the old sandpaper edition. Basically, you know, I just took sandpaper to it and went with the grain and gave it a more of a even finish to it, trying to get rid of some of those scratches and stuff and dings that were in it. It had some dings on the rear side, a really bad ding on the front end of the crown on the barrel, on the side of it, on the edge. Try to get rid of that. There were some scratches in the slide plate that were pretty bad. It's a lot more minimal now. There was some rust on it too, which, you know, did my best to try to get rid of. But I think overall, it is a user gun for us for sure. This is going to be used in some sort of type of defensive role for us. And for that, I mean, how can you go wrong? It's Smith & Wesson revolver, 6 shots of 357 Magnum or 38 Special Plus P. We're going to utilize it with some SIG V Crown 357 Magnum as our defensive round. And with that ammunition, I think that it's just going to be a fantastic self-defense revolver. Something that you can count on, something that you can use in a defensive situation.
All right, guys, the last 18 rounds will all be SIG 357 Magnum rounds. So if you can see a difference in the recoil, I can feel about, I don't know, 25% difference, but it seems to be well managed.
It's got a really smooth trigger on it.
Yeah, you can tell that it's had a lot of rounds through it, but the trigger's fantastic. It almost feels like a performance center trigger, and it's just a used Smith & Wesson. Gotta say, I'm very pleased with the trigger. And that's it, guys. Shoots really nice. A used Smith & Wesson revolver that shoots as well as the new ones. Now back to the tabletop.
So yes, I did take sandpaper to it, and I turned it into what I call the old sandpaper edition.
Yeah, considering it took you less than 3 hours to make the transition from what it was to what it is now, I think you did a pretty amazing job. I don't have the patience to do that, and I would have been afraid I would have damaged it even more than what it was before. So, but it turned out really nice.
Yeah, you just, you know, when you're doing something like that, you just got to go with the grain.
Yeah.
You just need to sand on the same fashion over and over again and keep the grain overall on the revolver as far as, you know, making sure that it turns out looking almost factory-like. I mean, like, there's Smith & Wessons now that have the same style finish as far as a satin style finish, and, you know, they're not, if they're not the bead blast, it's like a...
Brushed stainless.
Yeah, brushed stainless, exactly.
Right. And it looks very close to this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're using very fine sandpaper, and like you said, you're going in the same direction all the time, so you're not going cross direction. And,
yeah, because that's what makes it look bad.
Right.
You got to just stay with the grain.
And you got to be patient and take one little section at a time.
Yeah.
And then you kind of blend it all at the end, I would imagine. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, you get something like this revolver from AIM Surplus. The current retail price is $399, and they do have some still in stock the last time we checked. So for $399, you get a used Smith & Wesson that you can turn into something that looks just like this. Don't forget to add your Altamont grips, which I think brings something extra to the table when you're looking at something like this. I do really like the way they look. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and if you're interested in this Smith & Wesson Model 65 or anything else available at AIM Surplus, go ahead and check out their website. They have a lot of deals over there. As always, everyone, thanks for watching the video. Remember to like, share, and support us on Patreon if you like. And remember, your Second Amendment is worth protecting.